Hello and welcome to episode 23 of Pressing Buttons. I'm Hugo,
I'm Nick.
and it's great to have you guys, our lovely audience out there, whoever's listening, whoever's watching on YouTube. Great to have you in another week in this wonderful show that we have here going. 23 weeks strong. Commitment is our middle name, both our middle names. But it's been an exciting week with video game announcements, video game showcases. For those of you that didn't know, we did two live streams. One on Thursday for Summer Game Fest. That went awesome. And then we also did one today, Sunday. We're recording this on Sunday. We did the Xbox Bethesda showcase. It's different content that we want to do. Obviously, in the future, we will be doing more of this. If the showcases are long enough, obviously, we want to do a good hour of content. We just don't want to like get online for something that's going to be like 10, 15 minutes. But just jump in. We're always announcing it on Discord, on Twitter, and on WhatsApp, whatever groups we're in, letting everybody know when we're online. So, to more different content in the future. Thanks for joining us. As for
It,
today's
it was
episode,
my it was my live stream debut. Can you believe it?
yeah, he finally showed his face. And the funny thing was, we did have some technical difficulties because it's our first time doing this and doing it with like a simulcast where like with Nick's camera, my camera, and then also the YouTube stream. We had to kind of figure it out ourselves, but I think we did a good job. Nick hosted the first night on Game Fest, and then I hosted the Xbox One.
That's right.
So
I did
yeah,
it.
keep on the lookout for any future live streams that we do. Also, like it's a pretty good vibe. It's a pretty good time in there. We like interacting with everybody that jumps in there, and we have a lot of fun. So please join us on the next one. We'll keep you guys updated whenever that comes about. And then on the heels of that, today's episode is mostly going to focus on the games that were announced at Summer Game Fest, or even if they were previously announced, and the games announced at the Xbox Bethesda Showcase. What we'll do is for this episode, first we'll go over the Summer Game Fest. I'm going to do a little rundown of a list. It's a pretty long list of all the games that were announced or showcased there at the Summer Game Fest live stream, and then Nick and I will kind of give you our top three games that we were most interested by that were shown off there. And then for the second part, we'll do the Xbox Bethesda showcase. Same thing, we'll do a rundown of all the games that were showcased there or announced. And then we'll also do another top three for those games that we like. So I will be talking quite a bit for the first announced games. So bear
I
with
got
me.
my
I know,
popcorn.
yeah, bear with me. I know it's a lot of information, but we want you to see all the games that were announced. But the good thing is we're not going to go over all of them. We will also be linking the showcases in the show notes. So if you want to see videos of any of these games, make sure to follow the links on the show notes so you can see these games for yourself. All right. So let's start off with Summer Game Fest. I'm going to go down the list in no particular order. We had Neon White, which is out next week. It's basically a first person shooter card game. We had High Water, which is an indie, colorful game. Didn't see a lot of gameplay on that, so we'll have to see more. They announced The Last of Us is going to get its standalone multiplayer due out next year. That's for The Last of Us 2. It didn't ship with multiplayer like it was supposed to. It seems that the studio expanded the multiplayer into a bigger game than they thought it'd be, so now it's not going to be an add-on content to the original game. It's actually going to be its own game. They also announced The Last of Us Part 1 Remake, which is coming out for PS5. Then we had The Midnight Suns, which is a tacticals Marvel game. That's out October 2022. We had Aliens Dark Descent, squad-based shooter. That's out next year. Layers of Fear, horror game due out next year. Fort Solis, a space mystery game, due out next year. That one's interesting because it's featuring the voices of Troy Baker, very prolific voice actor, and Roger Clark, another prolific voice actor. Routine, a first-person shooter, first-person sci-fi horror game. Metal Hellsinger, which is a music-based rhythm shooter. American Arcadia, a Truman Show-esque side scroller. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. That's out June 16. They showed a 6-player mode for that game. Nightingale, it's a co-op RPG with time travel. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Tide is a first-person shooter. Seems to have 4-player co-op where you fight hordes of enemies. Goat Simulator 3, sequel to Goat Simulator. I don't even know if they did Goat Simulator 2. They might have just skipped one.
I think they just skipped. They skipped 2.
Yeah, that was a funny joke. I was like, oh, this is pretty funny. Zenless Zone Zero. It's an action game from the makers of Genshin Impact. We've kind of talked about this on the show before. That looked pretty neat. Honkai Star Rail. It's another game from the makers of Genshin Impact. This one is a strategy RPG. A new expansion for Warframe. For Street Fighter 6, they showed off Guile, which looked pretty cool. We made fun of his romper, but his new moves look great. Stormgate, it's a real-time strategy game by Frost Giant Studios, which is some previous developers from Blizzard that worked on StarCraft. I know our good friend Ollie, our British correspondent, is super hyped for that one. One Piece Odyssey, which is an RPG based on the popular One Piece manga, which I'm a big fan of. I'm excited for that. Midnight Fight Express, it's an action game. It has a cel-shaded art style, and the demo is out now on Steam. Flashback 2, a sequel to a 1992 game coming out in the winter. Cuphead, the Delicious Last Course DLC, which is out in June 30th. They showed off a Saints Row character creator demo, which is available soon or out now, which you can try out and create your own character ahead of the game's release. Gotham Knights Nightwing gameplay trailer, showed off some Nightwing stuff. Did not look super interesting. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, they showed off the first mission from the campaign. That's out October 2022. And for the first time, it will also be out on Steam. The Callisto Protocol, which is an action horror game, which we've talked about before, from Dead Space developers, and that is out by the end of the year. So that is the list of games, a very long list. A lot of those games were previously announced. No surprises really, but they did show a lot of gameplay in certain instances, so that was pretty good. As for me, my top 3, I would say, were Callisto Protocol, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Shredder's Revenge, and Witchfire. Oh, I thought I mentioned Witchfire. Oh, I forgot about that one, but I'll mention it here. First off, Callisto Protocol for me was a big. I think it was out of my top 3, it was number 1. Obviously, I've talked about in this podcast my love for Dead Space, how much I love the horror aspect of it, the gameplay aspect of it, and the world of it. When we were watching this on the live stream, we both were like, this is just Dead Space, but new gen and all that. And I'm happy for it. They showed off some gameplay, even though it's very brief. The horror elements are there, which is great. I'm glad they kept that part of the game. The slow moving parts of the game are still there, which I've always enjoyed in horror games. I don't want a fast-paced horror game because you can kind of get away from everything. I want that where everything feels heavy, where it's hard to shoot a gun, it's hard to run, to get away from these things. So I thought that was pretty good. And the graphics look great. It was super scary. I'm super excited for that one. Then the next one was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge. I've always loved Ninja Turtles, especially Turtles in Time. Since they announced this one a couple months back, this one has been on my radar. Obviously, with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you can play 4-player co-op, but it looks like you can do up to 6-player co-op on this one. And I'm excited for that. You can play as all 4 Turtles, Casey Jones, April O'Neil, and Master Splinter. So I'm excited to play this one, maybe do some sort of game night and play with everybody. And then the last one was Witchfire, which was a first-person shooter. It seems to have some old medieval times, but with guns elements. It looked pretty cool, the first-person shooter aspect of it. And it looks like they showed most of the gameplay, which I was excited about. It wasn't just some random CGI trailer. So those are my top 3: Callisto Protocol, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, and Witchfire. What were your top 3, Nick, from this showcase?
Yeah. I think Callisto Protocol is definitely on there. I think from my perspective, that's probably like the best game in Summer Game Fest, just in terms of it. Like, it looked amazing. I think the trailer was actually well edited and like appropriate for a game showcase, whereas I thought the Call of Duty one was like infuriatingly long and just like so I just feel like a lot of these trailers don't really play very well in these types of showcases. But I thought the Callisto Protocol one was great. So yeah, Callisto Protocol is definitely up there. Um, Street Fighter Six, even though it was basically just like the Guile reveal, and I think a lot of stuff's been leaking on Street Fighter Six, and then they also showed it. I think it was at the State of Play, right? I mean, they just recently showed off the game a bit, so it's not like anything super surprising, but it just continues to look great. Shortly after the Game Fest, Capcom kind of released a couple other tidbits around the game. So yeah, that one just looks awesome. I'm super excited for it. The community, the Street Fighter community seems to be pretty positive on the game so far. So definitely looking forward to it. And then for my third game, I'm kind of cheating a bit where I'm just gonna say it's Hoyoverse, like one of these games from Hoyoverse. I think I'll probably get really into. So that's Zenless. I'll never be able to remember this name. Zenless Zone Zero. I'm just gonna start calling it Triple Z. And then
Triple snooze, baby.
yeah, yeah. And then Honkai Star Rail looks really good. I think right now I'm probably more interested in Honkai Star Rail just because it's more kind of set in space and got a bit of that like Star Ocean vibe going on. So, but yeah, I thought both of those games look great. I'm always, cautiously optimistic with these free to play games. So we'll see how onerous of a monetization model the games have, but they looked awesome. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking those out. So yeah, if I were forced to pick, the three games that I'm like most excited by, it'd probably be those three. That being said, I mean, you did the whole, lightning round of all the games. There's just like a ton of games that were talked about. So there's a ton of stuff in here that I'm definitely gonna play, and a lot of it's coming up pretty soon. I think the one that you mentioned was the Ninja Turtles game, which I think that'll be a fun. I don't know how long a game it's going to be, but that's definitely going to be like a good game night, online multiplayer game that comes out pretty soon. So I'll check that out. But I think there's been a theme with these game showcases where I think there's like more games. Like there are a lot of games that are talked about, and a lot of them look pretty fun. But there haven't really been that many like earth-shattering big new reveal that like blows everyone away.
Yeah,
So yeah, and I think Keeley, I think Jeff Keeley, who runs the show, kind of was trying to manage expectations accordingly of because I think it was for the Game Awards last year where he's like, we have 5 Elden Rings in terms of like how big the announcements were, and people were like, "Oh my god, like that's unbelievable!" And then, yeah. So no, there were 0 Elden Rings in the showcase, but I think it was fine. I would kind of say this is like it was good. A good showcase. There's a lot of games I'm interested in, but like nothing groundbreaking or super surprising.
Yeah, he definitely like tempered everybody's expectations. He sent a tweet right before, like, "Hey, there's nothing crazy that's gonna be shown. Everything's kind of been announced already. We're just kind of maybe showing a little bit more, or just going into it a little bit more." Obviously, the big blockbusters, like everybody, I'm pretty sure deep down they were like, he's lying. He might show us something huge, especially like his relationship with Kojima. Maybe something a lot of people expected something out of that, which didn't come to fruition. But I understand with these type of things, especially something so new. You don't have all the developers rushing to be like, hey, can I show off my game over here? It's a new big blockbuster, especially with so many delays. There was no like God of War announcement or anything like that, or maybe a Halo announcement. Just nothing from the big franchises or anything like that. We still have maybe a week left of this summer game fest, you would say. I know Capcom is doing their showcase soon this week, and then Square Enix is doing another showcase as well. And I'm pretty sure smaller developers will be doing some or showing something off. So there is still room for any surprises during the week, but everybody's kind of expectations have been lowered just because nothing big has leaked or anything like that. It's a slow year. And then, like you said, one thing I wanted to note: it's a lot of games, it's a lot of good games showcased. But obviously, we don't have a lot of time to go over everything that they showed. But definitely take a look into it. Some of the stuff that we like might not necessarily appeal to you guys or listeners, and some of the stuff that you guys like might not appeal to us. So there's definitely, I think they showed a good showcase of games for everybody. You'll like at least one or two things from this showcase. And like you were saying with the Street Fighter, that one's also been on my mind just because Capcom has embraced the leaks and all that. And a lot of the stuff that they've shown, especially at the PlayStations that they have down at Summer Games Fest, a lot of the journalists seems to be enjoying the game in terms of like the accessibility of it for people who aren't necessarily huge fighting game aficionados like me. I don't know how to do the combos. I don't know how to throw Hadouken, but if you put a one button Hadouken, you definitely bet that I'm going to be playing that. The art style looks great. You can taunt in the game. You can do facial expressions right before you start the match. And the open world aspect of it, we don't know a lot of it, but it's something new. So I think Street Fighter low key is one of those that's going to surprise a lot of people. And it's definitely going to bring a lot more people than the previous generation did. And then as far as the Senless Zone Zero and Honkai Star Rail, I'm excited for Senless Zone Zero. Definitely looks like a good action RPG game, so excited for that.
Cool. Any other honorable mentions? Like I think there's a few titles. So Neon White comes up pretty soon. I think if you recall on the live stream, I kind of had like a moment of excitement when I saw the person doing the soundtrack for the game. So it's an artist called Machine Girl is doing the music.
Who's not a girl?
Big fan. Not a girl. Big fan of his music, and he was, I don't know what it is, but sometimes I'll listen to an artist, I'll become a fan of theirs, and then I'll just think about like, oh my god, this artist needs to work on a game. So the most recent person I came to the conclusion with was Machine Girl. I'm like, oh, Machine Girl just has to do some sort of game soundtrack. And then I think the other two, so there was Flying Lotus was another artist where it's like, this person needs to do something in games. And then he ended up getting his own radio station in Grand Theft Auto 5. And then there's a band called Health. I was like, they got to do something. They got to do something in games. They ended up doing the Max Payne 3 soundtrack. So I think there's something about Take-Two and like Rockstar. Like they just, I really vibe with their sense of music, I guess. I don't know, but like they seem to be pretty good about getting interesting acts and having them work on their game music.
Yeah, from what we've heard in all the Grand Theft Autos, I would say, and then like also Max Payne and Red Dead, I feel like they curate their music really, really well, and it's something pleasing where you're playing the game and you kind of get lost, and those are the great soundtracks that you kind of don't have to like, oh, this music sucks. It just flows with the style of the game, and I think, like you said, Rockstar makes a great deal of that.
Yeah. So Neon White looked cool. It kind of had like a Killer 7 vibe to it, but it seems like a little bit more fast paced and had some sort of like trading card element to it. So I'm probably, unless it just absolutely gets dunked on in reviews, I'll probably give that a whirl. And then
I mean, it's coming out for the Switch, so you might have to pull out your Switch wherever that is.
No, it's on PC too.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right, you're
yeah. I'm not
safe.
good. I'm not buying a Switch game. Are you kidding me? It's a dead system. Dead
You're gonna
system.
eat your words.
Yeah. And then I'm just looking at the list. I think another one is just because I'm a Marvel fanboy is Midnight Suns. Um, so I'm kind of mixed on that, where it's again like I'll pretty much try anything that's Marvel, but I'm also like not a huge kind of strategy tactics person. Like there's very few of those types of games that I actually really get into. I mean, it's basically like Fire Emblem, and I think that's pretty much it. Like I never really got into XCOM or any of those. So we'll see how this one shakes out. But that's another one that's maybe on my list of games I'll check out.
Yeah, well, with that one, I still have not seen any gameplay, so that's still kind of on the fence. I'm on the fence about it, just because I haven't seen any gameplay. It's all been CGI stuff, and it does look pretty cool. I love it when I see these Marvel characters in different outfits that you don't normally see them. But I want to see some gameplay before I pull the trigger. I want to see what the gameplay is like, especially with XCOM developers. Like you said, I'm also not like a big strategy tactics gamer, but
I think we're
this
just
is a
too
very
stupid. We're both just too
we're,
dumb.
yeah, it's not for us, but we'll play them anyways.
Shooting and jumping, and that's all we can handle.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
and then the other like maybe final thought I had on this was, uh, you know, a lot of these game showcases, everyone definitely fixates on like what is the final announcement or final reveal of the showcase. And so for this one, it was Last of Us, and I just thought that was like maybe like kind of telling of there wasn't like too much going on, where the big like the main event was like a remake of a game that I think a lot of people argue like doesn't really need to be remade. Uh, I think when we were watching the trailer, I think I made a comment. I'm like, does this even look that much better than the Last of Us remaster? And then when they start doing the side by sides, it's like, okay, like yeah, this it definitely looks better. It also just looks different. Like it's I think there's a bit of a different artistic look to it. So, but at the same time, it's like, is this really like, is this needed? Like I think
is
I think
this
I
what
think
you
Demon
got?
Souls. Yeah, I think Demon Souls made sense like that. I think that needed to be remastered because it was, it's stuck on PS3. It's like pretty tough to play it. So I think you can pretty easily argue like, yeah, Demon Souls makes sense to get remastered, but I think it kind of makes less sense for Last of Us. But yeah, so to me, it's like, do you think that was like the big thing, or was it like the multiplayer being its own standalone title? Like, what's the thing that's more exciting, do you think?
Well, I'm a big fan of the franchise and the studio. I think, and before I make the analysis, I think it being leaked like a couple hours before kind of took a lot of the shine away from it, so that kind of sucked. But it is a 10-year-old game if if you think about it. It's a 10-year-old game. It did get remastered for the PS4 because it was towards the end of the PS3 life cycle. Then the PS4 came out. They remastered it just so everybody could keep playing. Then part two came out, obviously. I was in the same boat as you. I looked when they were showcasing the trailer side by side. It didn't look too different, but then I went back into it and I did notice a big difference. They also said that they're going to kind of upgrade the enemy behavior and combat behavior from part two into part one. So I'm excited to kind of see that. And it's one of my favorite games. I do hope they keep the multiplayer aspect of it, and you can do that on PS5. So we'll see. I was more excited for the Last of Us multiplayer aspect, multiplayer standalone, but they didn't really show anything. They did say that they moved all the resources instead of it being an expansion or an add-on to the Last of Us Part Two. They decided to make it its own standalone game, which I'm all for it. Just they didn't show anything, but I have faith in the studio, and I enjoyed the first game's multiplayer. So can't wait to see what that is. But like you said, there was no. This isn't like a big announcement. This one last thing that will blow everybody's socks off, which we'll talk about in the Xbox Bethesda showcase. It wasn't that big announcement that blew everybody's socks off, but I still think it was a good announcement. And they showed off like a still from the show, which hopefully is broadcast at the end of the year or early next year. So that was pretty exciting. But yeah, it's nothing new. Jeff Keighley told you. You should have listened to Jeff Keighley.
Yeah, when you have the ultimate hype man telling you to not be excited, you gotta.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty telling.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to emphasize is like these Call of Duty. Like I saw the, that they were gonna start talking about Call of Duty. I just like got up and left and grabbed a coffee during the live stream just because I would hope it would be over by the time I returned. But then I had to like, how long was that thing? It was like, I was like, give me a break. Like, no one wants to see this. Like,
well, it was kind of like the first mission from the new game. And I'll tell you this, as a Call of Duty player, nobody's interested in this. People want to see the multiplayer. People want to see Warzone, or they want to see the regular multiplayer. Nobody wants to see a campaign. People who play Call of Duty see the campaign as an add-on. Yeah, some of the campaigns are either good or they're bad. So you'll figure it out when you buy the game. But people just want to see the multiplayer stuff. Show them that and you'll get more excitement. Nobody wants to see somebody run through a campaign, especially when they're not doing that great. So yeah, it was a bit underwhelming just to see that. Obviously, with the game coming out in October, we'll definitely see more showcase, and they'll start showing off the multiplayer stuff. But if you're trying to get people excited for the game, don't show them a mission that they've seen 1,000 times. What war game haven't you seen that is on a boat, shipping container, stuff, bullets flying, secret tactical team, oil rig? It's all cookie cutter. I don't want to see all that stuff. But yeah,
I agree. Cool.
All
Any
right.
other reflections on this, or move on to
that's
Xbox?
about it. That's about it. I think Jeff Keighley did good. Loved the stage that he was in. That looked pretty dope. And I'm excited to see what next year will hold. Hopefully it has more world premieres. He kept saying world premiere, and it was like, bro, I've seen this before. Stop lying to me. All right, so we're going to move on, and we're going to go over the Xbox Bethesda showcase. Again, going to go over this list of stuff that they announced. Pretty long list. Oh, my God. It's a lot. All right. Starfield, long-anticipated game. They showed off some gameplay. They showed off some cinematics. That's out first half of 2023. Hollow Knight Silksong coming to Game Pass. No release date on that, but they did say all the games that they showed off are going to be 12 months out, basically, so anytime within the year. Redfall, also coming out first half of 2023. They showed some gameplay on that. Looked pretty cool. Seems to be like Left 4 Dead, but with some powers. Forza Motorsport, which I kid you not, I did not know that it was different than Forza Horizon. That's coming out next spring. And then Forza Horizon 5, that's getting an expansion based in Hot Wheels. That looked pretty cool. That comes out July 19 of this year. Naraka Blade Point, which is a third-person action battle royale game that looks pretty cool. That's coming to consoles. That's coming to Xbox June 23rd, 2022. Pentiment, a 2D adventure detective game, that's also coming out within the year. You have Grounded, which is a Honey, I Shrunk the Kid style game that has been out in like beta, so that's fully coming out in September. Persona is coming out to Xbox. Big surprise. They don't really, Microsoft doesn't really do many things with Japanese studios, but They announced that Persona 3 is coming out, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royale is coming out on Xbox. The only date they have
Royal. It's Royal.
I'm
You pulled
thinking,
a Phil Spencer and called it
yeah,
Royale.
he messed me up. Yeah, Persona 5 Royal is coming out October 21st. They didn't have any dates for the other two, but expect those soon. Hideo Kojima announced that his next game is going to be in partnership with Microsoft Xbox, which is kind of funny because, Death Stranding was out for PlayStation. He didn't announce anything. He didn't really show anything. So it might also be coming out for PC and PlayStation. So we'll hopefully we'll get more news in the future. A Plague Tale, Requiem, or Requiem.
Requiem.
A Plague
I'm
Tale.
here. I'm glad I'm here to correct all your pronunciation.
Yeah, thank God for that. English isn't my first language.
I know. No,
the rat
I'm
game.
not. I'm here to help. I'm not clowning on you.
I know. Basically, the Rat Game Part 2 is coming out later this year. It's a pretty cool game. I haven't played the first one, but those
And
rats go
I
crazy.
heard Ratatouille is going to be a DLC.
And what was it? The Raccoon Rat?
Rakakuni?
Rakakuni from Everything Everywhere All at Once is also DLC.
Paid
Pressing buttons
DLC though.
exclusives.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah, it's our first scoop.
Yeah. Then you have Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn. It's a third-person action game. That one looked very similar to Forspoken. That one looked pretty cool. That one's out 2023. Scorn. It's a horror game out October 21st, 2022. That one definitely looked pretty cool. It had some alien aesthetic vibes. It also H.G. Geiger, I believe, is the artist that they kind of stole the aesthetic from. That looked pretty cool.
Yeah. Also featured a track from Health.
There you go. Nick is also our music correspondent. He has the ears for them tracks.
Yeah.
Overwatch early access launches in the fall. I was like, okay. Ara History Untold, a strategy game. That one's also out within the year. Elder Scrolls Online is getting a high Isle expansion. That one's due out June 21st. First time that the High Isles are out in
What does one do in the High Isle, I wonder?
First time that the High Isles are out in the Elder Scrolls Online world. Definitely a mouthful to say. Fallout 76 getting a Pittsburgh expansion. That game is still out there, for those who didn't know. Sea of Thieves, new season launches July 21st. You'll be able to customize your captain and your boat and name your boat. Name that thing Booty is what I would say. Diablo 4, they showed off the Necromancer. That one's releasing next year. Lightyear Frontier, that's a farming game, also out next year. Cocoon, top-down indie game made by the designers of Limbo. That one coming out within the year. That one looked pretty cool. The Last Case of Benedict Fox, a side-scrolling action game coming out next year. Ravenlock, it's a turn-based RPG. It gave me a lot of Alice in Wonderland vibes. That looked pretty cool. Also coming out next year. Ereban, Shadow Legacy, stealth action game out next year. Dust Falls, narrative-driven game where you make different choices. That one's out July 19th. Gunfire Reborn, it's a first-person shooter with fairies. Look pretty okay. But, fairy creatures. That looked pretty cool. Wolong Fallen Dynasty. It's a fantasy action game about hunting dragons from Team Ninja, who we love. Developers on Ninja Gaiden and Neo and all that stuff. That's out early 2023. Riot and Xbox announced a partnership where you will be able to unlock all champions on League of Legends Wild Rift. You'll also be able to unlock all agents in Valorant and certain card sets in Legends of Runeterra. So that was kind of pretty big announcement. If you like playing those games and you don't have all characters, look for a way to unlock all that. High on Life, it's a first-person shooter from the creator of Rick and Morty, where the guns talk to you, and the knife, there was a knife that talked to you, and it said some pretty funny shit. I'm a big Rick and Morty fan, so is Nick, so we definitely probably we will get this game. Minecraft Legends. It's an action strategy game spin-off of Minecraft. R2, starring Vin Diesel, obviously, family, out in 2023. And that was it for the Xbox showcase, all the stuff that got announced there. As far as my top three on that, I'll start off with, in no particular order on this one, Starfield. They show off some gameplay. Obviously, it's one of those games that was supposed to come out this year in November, pushed to next year just because they felt like it wasn't ready. It didn't wow me too much, but in terms of everything that they showed at this showcase, I thought it was one of the most interesting things. The game itself looked really good. I think the graphics look great. Better, they look better than anything that Bethesda has done up to this point. I think uh, from Fallout to Elder Scrolls to any of those other games, except for Doom, I think this looked like the best graphical improved game ever. Now, gameplay wise, those guns that they were shooting was horrible. And I might have a little bias because I play Destiny. I think Bungie has cornered the market in terms of best feeling of shooting a gun in a video game. I think they do such a great job. Whenever I play other games, that's how I compare if it's good gunplay or not. So Starfield, interesting, but definitely got to see more. It didn't really wow me as much as I thought it should be, or as much as I think everybody's expecting it to. And the next one that I was excited about was High on Life. Like I said, Nick and I, big Rick and Morty fans. We love the humor. Um, and it looks like a fun game. The weapons talk to you. They say dumb shit. I like saying dumb shit. I'm excited for that one. It's definitely one of all the games that the Rick and Morty creator has made. I think this one is the most for me. I haven't played the other ones. And the last one, Wulong Fallen Dynasty. Obviously, we're big Team Ninja fans. We love playing Neo. Um, Nick has played Stranger of Paradise. I'm on my way to play that when I can. Uh, and this is another type. It looks to be like another type of those games, especially with dragons. I'm excited for that. So those are my top three. What about you, Nick?
Cool. Yeah. So for me, I think we have a couple. I think two of the games I think are the same, right? So Wolong, even though we don't really know what the game actually is, and I think the other interesting kind of factoid is I can't remember the person's role, maybe like the director or someone, but it was someone who was involved with Bloodborne. Is also working on this game, so I think it's Team Ninja plus someone who worked on Bloodborne.
That's just more fuel for us to get the game.
Yeah, and yeah, I think big Team Ninja fan. I'm coming off of completing Stranger of Paradise, which was kind of like a big dumb game, but I loved it and the combat was great. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to this one. Yeah, and High on Life. So I did play. The studio used to be called Squanch Tendo. So that's Justin Roiland, who's co-creator Rick and Morty and does a lot of the voices, particularly for Rick and Morty in that show. His studio was called Squanch Tendo, but I have to imagine Nintendo came after him or something. So now the studio is just called Squanch Games, and they've mainly done VR projects as far as I'm aware. So they did like a really kind of quick and dirty game called Accounting for VR, and then they also did Trover Saves the Universe, which was more of like a kind of like a platformer type game, but also in VR. So I guess I don't know if this game's going to be in VR, but presumably there's a non-VR version. So yeah, I'll check this one out. I just love that he like shamelessly uses the Morty voice for like every project, and
Yeah, that
I don't
first
care.
gun
Like
when you see the trailer. That first gun when
like,
you see the trailer, it's like I was like, oh, it's Morty. I mean, it's not supposed to be Morty, but it's Morty.
Yeah. So, but like somehow he like gets away with it, right? Like it's totally. I think most other people would get like annoyed or whatever, but like for him, it's like, oh yeah, that's Justin Roiland, and he's gonna have a bunch of zany characters. So yeah, that one looked cool, and I don't think we heard that was like a genuine surprise, right? Like that was I'd never
Yeah,
heard of
it
this
went,
game, and it looks cool. So yeah, excited about that one. And then maybe the difference is I'm less enthused about Starfield. Very excited about the Kojima Productions announcement. Even though we know absolutely nothing, there's
yeah. He just
zero
he just
information.
said
And then,
he
yeah,
just
I'm
showed up
here.
and was
Hey,
like, "Hey, we're making a game with Microsoft." I don't know
yeah.
how's that like a top thing for you?
So it's just I'm such a. I mean, again, you can see the Kojima Productions like Nendoroid behind me. So I'm gonna buy whatever this guy sends out. The only interesting kind of thing that we learned was it's going to be something to do with like cloud gaming, whatever that means. And he's always been pretty uh, like forward thinking in terms of how to leverage technology to enhance the experience.
Yeah, when he was making Death Stranding, he went around to a bunch of Sony developers just to see the tech that they were working with. So
Yeah, he also did. Well, I mean, there's that, but it's actually that's more like I think he was doing like game engine research, but then he's also done some other things that have been pretty cool with. There was a game called Boktai or Boktai or something like that, but the cartridge. So I think it was Game Boy Advance, but like the cartridge had some sort of like sunlight sensor in the actual cartridge, and you like had when you were like outside, the game would like know.
oh, I think I
It,
remember this one.
yeah. So like that was his game. He also he kind of pioneered uh, cross saves and cross progression. He had this thing called he called it transfarring, and that was like when you would be playing. I think it was from between PSP and PS3 maybe, but like you'd be like be playing a game on your PSP and progress, and then transfer that to like that was a very long time ago when he was like
Yeah,
trying to do all. So like he's very kind of again like forward looking with this type of stuff. So then it's just like okay, like he must have like some sort of cloud based game concept that he's been wanting to do, and it just he's been waiting for like the right partnership and the right technology to exist to be able to do it. So I think I don't know, maybe that makes sense. Like that's why I'm just interested to see what he comes up with as it relates to this like cloud gaming angle and building a game that specifically takes advantage of that in some way. So
no, it's exciting. Kojima throwing his name out there. Definitely, Microsoft kind of needs this cred, especially in the Japanese market, in the Eastern market. They definitely need these big producers and directors to kind of like throw their hat in the ring and hey, we want to work with you. We want to make these games to reach your audience too. So, and never say never because Sony also uses some of Microsoft's cloud tech, so it might be multi-platform. We don't know yet. There's nothing, no details on it, but we'll
yeah,
see.
yeah, that's I don't think they've announced anything specifically, but there's some sort of strategic partnership between Sony and Microsoft to leverage Microsoft cloud technology for PlayStation in some way. So yeah, maybe this game could come out to PlayStation at some point. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, so that'd be my top three. So really, I guess I'm more excited about the Kojima Productions thing. You're more excited about Starfield. I think my thing with Starfield, it's like I'm definitely gonna play it. So I thought it look at the gunplay looks like comically bad. Like so the gunplay was really bad, but I thought the game looked okay. Like kind of graphically, that's kind of what you would expect with these Bethesda games. So it looks good for a Bethesda game, but I don't think it looks good in the grand scheme of like the broader games market. But some of the other like mechanics, like building your own ship and base building and recruiting people, and
And going
you
to
know,
different
I
worlds,
yeah, you know,
systems.
I love all that stuff. So I'm definitely gonna check the game out. I'm just maybe not as excited as probably like a lot of people are. Um, and again, kind of similar to like Last of Us being the showstopper for Summer Game Fest. Like this was kind of designed to be like the main event for the Xbox Game Showcase. So I got a lot of time. I thought it was a better use of time than say what they did with Call of Duty. Like they kind of walked through a bunch of different things, and there was lots of different flavors of reveal. Um, but yeah, I don't know. So again, I'll play it, but I'm not like, it's not like on my top any list uh, for like upcoming games.
It was definitely a better one last thing, I would say, just because it was something new for the showcase.
Yeah, totally.
Then the Last of Us one. Obviously, Microsoft heavily invested in Starfield, heavily invested in Bethesda. It took the last 15 minutes, I believe, of the showcase. Honestly, like it was always one of those games that was on my radar to maybe play if I ever get a chance, but it also didn't push me to kind of want it more. I know it's a big blockbuster. It's supposed to be one of their biggest blockbusters, but it didn't really draw me in. And that might also have to do with me. Like, I've never really been a Bethesda kind of guy, like where I play a lot of their games. So we'll see. I mean, if anything, I could just watch you play it and criticize it when it comes
Yeah,
out.
I think I have played. I've played Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, New Vegas, but that was done by Obsidian. So yeah, I've played not every game that they've done, but I've played a lot of them. So maybe that's like another thing where it's just like, oh, it's another. It's, I mean, to me it's literally Fallout. It's Fallout 4, but in
In
space.
space.
And I didn't really have like, I kind of still have like a sour taste in my mouth from Fallout 4. So maybe that's what's kind of influencing my lack of excitement about this game. But you know, again, we'll see. Um,
Yeah, we'll
I don't
see
know
what
if
the
I
future
had.
holds.
Yeah, I think for me, which I know you're sick of hearing about, but uh, you know, basically every game at the end said play it on Game Pass, and I think it's kind of similar to Summer Game Fest, where there wasn't a ton of like, oh my god, this is, you know, blowing me away, but there's still like a lot of games that I'm interested to check out. So I don't think we need to like list them all out, but there's definitely like five or so games that I'm absolutely going to check out on Game Pass. So it was good to see to kind of help reinforce the value proposition at Game Pass, because I know a lot of people have been kind of shitting on Game Pass and its lack of first party titles, and I don't think we're still not seeing that many first party titles, you know, coming soon. But to me, at least, there's still like enough other stuff that kind of, you know, I feel good about the subscription still. And then maybe one other final thought is I kind of want to reconcile what we know versus what we don't know in terms of Xbox first party studios, which is like a giant number now, and just like what beyond this like 12-month window, right? You know, so they did kind of narrow the scope of games to be next 12 months. So I kind of want, you know, I'm now eager to see like what year 2 and 3 look like for Xbox first party studios. Like there's got to be some good stuff in there, but you know, they didn't have anything to share today.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It was great to see everything say available on Game Pass, or most of it, like at least 95% of it. And I'm excited. Not too excited that's going to drive me to go get Game Pass right now. Probably get Game Pass a year from now when everything is on Game Pass. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that I can totally see that. Like I know, again, people have been kind of pessimistic around the value proposition now for Game Pass, particularly with Sony coming out with a competing service. So I think that's totally reasonable. For me, there's still enough value, but I could see like a lot of people picking up either initially subscribing or resubscribing, I think next year, I think that's going to be a good period to be a Game Pass subscriber.
All right. So that does it for our news segment, our showcase segment for the week. We're going to link up the showcase videos on the notes. So make sure if you want to see all these games that we talked about and ones that we didn't really go into full detail, if you want to check those out, make sure to click the links in the notes. That'll take you to the Summer Game Fest showcase and the Xbox Bethesda showcase, and you can check it out for yourself. And if you have any thoughts on that, make sure to drop by the Pressing Buttons Discord and let us know what you think. And we're going to move on to some closing thoughts. I'll start off. Not a lot of games to play, obviously, so I've still been on my Destiny grind. I set myself a personal goal, especially with the new season and the solar class ability. It's easier to do some content by yourself because it's easier to stay healthy and stay alive. So I set a personal goal. I'm doing a duality dungeon, which is basically like a 3-man activity, but I'm doing it by myself with a Titan and a Titan build that keeps me alive. I'm about 2/3 done with it. I'm at the final boss. It's been a little bit tricky. I died a lot, mostly by some dumb bullshit where like I hit a wall or something. If in Destiny, if you get killed by the architects, it just means you got killed by some random thing that the game doesn't comprehend. So it just says you got killed by the architects. So I've gotten a lot of that, but I'm happy with what I've done. It's definitely a good achievement for me, especially with our episode 25 that we're going to have soon, where we're going to talk about our gaming achievements that we're kind of proud of, which, all of our listeners, if you have any gaming achievements that you're proud of, don't forget to send us an email or put it up on Discord, and we can bring those up in episode 25. So don't forget to do that. I've also been rewatching Better Call Saul. Season 6 was just released between May and beginning of June. Part 1. Part 2 is coming out in July, the second half of the final season. So great show. Just kind of forgot a few things, so I decided to just rewatch the whole thing. If you haven't seen it, make sure you catch up. It's a great show. I definitely think it's better than Breaking Bad. All the 5 seasons are, it's a big thing. You gotta see it.
Whoa,
Yeah,
that's
definitely better.
That's a statement.
There's 5 seasons on Netflix, so check that out if you have Netflix. You won't regret it. I also started watching Stranger Things Part 4, and I think I've only watched 3 or 4 episodes. And my one qualm with the fucking show is that these episodes are too long. The episodes are like an hour or something. TV shows shouldn't have more than hour episodes because I'm falling asleep. I'm getting tired. I'm like, get to the point. Do I want to watch an hour and something? I understand in a movie because in a movie, everything wraps up. In a show, you have an hour and 20 minutes of an episode and nothing wraps up. Stop making hour and something episodes of shows. I mean, I'm getting disinterested in this show and I like the show, but we'll see if I finish it by the end of next week.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was season 2 or season 3. This is season 4 right now?
This is 4, yeah.
Okay. I think I just can't remember, but like I loved the first season, and then either season 2 or season 3, I just got so bored. I was like bored by those episodes, so I just kind of gave up on the show. I really feel like the initial concept was cool, but then like it just kind of ran. At least for me, it's like yeah, we get it. Like, so I don't know. I just kind of got over the show, but I don't know if it's something I should pick back up again at some point.
I'm still on the fence about it. I'm just watching it because, like you said, I also watched the other season, so I might as well. There's nothing else that I'm like, oh, I should watch that. But yeah, too long. The episodes are too long. I understand if it's the season finale and you want to get some extra time to wrap things up, but not every fucking episode. And I'm already dreading like the last couple episodes because I know they're like an hour and a half or longer. Come on, man. Come on.
Just disrespectful of your time.
I feel like I've been ranting too much about the shows I'm watching. Maybe I shouldn't be watching these shows.
Well, you've been hanging out with me too much, and now you just shit on everything.
Yeah, last week it was Ozarks. those are, and now it's Stranger Things. We'll see what it is next week. Hopefully, I watch something I like.
Well, don't watch Obi-Wan anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting till all episodes are out for that
Just
one. Maybe it'll
don't.
make sense. Hey, you never know. 2 episodes
No,
left.
no,
It
no.
could blow your mind.
No. If you're trying to like find a show that you're excited about and can speak positively about, find that show first. Just to get pump yourself up again, and then watch Obi-Wan after that. Because I'm highly confident you're going to be like, this show sucks.
Yeah.
Which is a good segue to my closing thoughts. So I've been watching Obi-Wan, and the show sucks.
What more can you say?
Yeah, I really don't know what to say. So I think there's been 4 episodes.
Yeah.
There's like literally nothing like, like it's just everything. I don't even know like how to say anything because it's so like frustrating. Because I was like really excited about it. I kind of wanted it to be like this kind of redemption arc for not necessarily Obi-Wan as a character, but just like mainly for like Ewan McGregor and like that cast and
Yeah.
them getting like
cast.
it's like a great cast, but just like that script sucked, the story sucked, and whatever. Like I really just wanted something good for them, and like they're not getting it. Like the characters suck again. I can't really talk about it too much without spoiling it for you, but
well,
we'll
like, see. Once the 6 episodes
sucks.
are out, I feel like we could do our own, and like, cause then I'll watch them, and then you can tell me if maybe it picked up or if it was still ass.
Yeah, so it's just like the writing's awful. Most of the new characters suck. The editing is like bizarre. The music is like not Star Wars music. So really, the whole series is like waiting for Vader to be on screen. And like that's like kind of cool when Vader's on screen, but like other than that, like it's pretty bad. So
well, I know I read on the internet that the last episode had a bit of a shout out, a little Easter egg of Jedi Fallen Order, so that's something to look forward to.
Oh yeah, I saw that, but I didn't play the game. Yeah, so I didn't.
Yeah.
I think I know this. I think I know the scene they're talking about, where I think there's like maybe a lot of references to different Jedis, but yeah. So I've been doing that. So that's a low point in television. On a high point, I started watching The Boys. So this is season 3.
Season 3.
So I've only watched the first episode, but it's more of The Boys, and I'm a big fan of the show. So enjoyed the first episode. There's some wild stuff that happens in that episode, which I won't talk about, but it's wild. But yeah, I think it was a good first episode. I think it kind of tees up what's gonna unfold this season. Yeah, so I don't know. I think again, I've only watched the first episode. I gotta figure out what my watch schedule is gonna look like, because I think they do
first 3. They released the first 3 together.
Okay.
And then now they're doing it weekly. So they are releasing weekly now, but at least the first 3 are out.
Okay, good. That makes I wasn't really sure what the kind of the release schedule looked like for that, but that makes sense, because I think I have like a couple more to watch. Okay, cool. All right, well, I know what I'm doing tonight.
I'll check that one out.
Yeah,
I'll check that one out soon.
Yeah, and then on the games front, I mentioned last week I dug up a PlayStation Vita that I had access to, and after I kind of decided I wanted to have like an actual portable system to play, so I've been playing some retro games on that. Mainly been playing Symphony of the Night, which is one of my favorite games. So I think that's great to have that in a portable device. So I've been kind of going between that, Persona 3 Portable, which was the version of Persona 3 made specifically for the PSP, which they actually just announced. That's going to be the version of the game that they're going to release on Xbox. So I'm kind of playing around with that a little bit. And then also Metal Gear Peace Walker, which is a, as I mentioned earlier, big fan of Kojima. I've played every Metal Gear game except Peace Walker because it launched on the PSP, which I didn't have. I think they kind of re-released it in like some sort of HD package. Yeah, but I never still never got that. So trying to play Peace Walker, playing that game. Maybe I'll get used to it, but playing that game on the PSP like kind of sucks. Like it's just with like the shooting controls and
I think I did play it when it came out, man. And the controller is
tough.
Definitely
yeah. So I'm seeing that maybe if there's like after a bit of a learning curve, I'll just get used to it. But so yeah, kind of dabbling with a lot of different, more like older games, but mainly playing Symphony of the Night, I would say mostly. And then in terms of more current stuff, I bought Ghost of Tsushima. The did they call it a remaster? I don't even know. I think I don't know where I had the box somewhere.
I don't think they call it a remaster. I think they just call it like an upgrade.
Yeah. So, but I got the PS5 version. I pretty much bought it when it came out, and then just never played it. I think I was mainly focused on, I guess, Demon Souls, or I don't know what I was doing, but I've had the game for several months. Now that I'm in this backlog, period, I was like, oh shit, I have this game that I already bought and people really like, so let me try it out finally. So yeah, I spun that up. I started playing it, I think, earlier in the week, and it's awesome, dude. Like,
nice.
I kind of feel like a goon for not playing this one earlier. Like it's have you played it?
No, for me, I'm waiting. Just because with Sony releasing a lot of their great games on PC, I was like, I should just wait for the PC version.
Oh yeah,
but it might be it might be too long because I want to play it. Like, especially now hearing that you like it.
I mean, I can tell you like kind of what I was saying about when I played Miles Morales on PS5. Like, it's a PC gaming experience at this point. Like, it's hard for me to imagine it being that much better on PC. Yeah. And I think Ghost of Tsushima is pretty certain. Like, it looks unbelievable. Like it's smooth. It looks incredible. It is. I've kind of gotten a little bit tired of the like giant open world map game, and you just have a bunch of markers everywhere, and you're just running around and checking all the boxes. So it's like it's that kind of game, but I've been okay. Like, it's fun. Like, this is like again, it's beautiful. It's very fluid. The combat's fun. So I've been okay with it. There's a couple of like minor gripes. Like, some of the fights get kind of annoying with like the cameras, like particularly when you're inside and close quarters.
They push very cinematic, right? Like, they push very cinematic fighting style.
Yeah. But I think it's great. Like, you should just pick it up on PS5. Like, it's awesome.
It seems like I'm gonna have to. I mean, I still got a little backlog of Horizon, and then I want to play Stranger Paradise. But if you say there's probably not gonna be a difference between that and PC, I'll probably do PS5.
I don't think so. Like, I think it'd be so marginal. So it'd really only be if you don't have a PS5. I think it would make sense to get it. But if you already have a PS5, like, and you have time now, I would just go ahead and get it.
Does it use the DualSense? Is there any DualSense features?
Yeah. I would say it's not like
Return
crazy, but like, yeah, it's definitely taking advantage of DualSense. Okay. One recommendation, I was kind of going back and forth on like the language track, because they have multiple languages, but I was kind of debating whether I wanted to go like
Japanese or English,
cinephile snob, like, Japanese language track with subtitles. And at least for me, I wouldn't recommend it. So I'm now going English audio track because, so for the cinematics, like the Japanese it's awesome. Like it's exactly what you would expect and what you would want. But and during like the gameplay, it's like open world, right? So there's just like there's so much, like like in Red Dead Redemption, you're like in a caravan with horses and people are talking, and so there's just like too much like text that you need to read while stuff's happening, and then when you're walking around in towns, there's like all these people talking and you have no idea. So for the open world portions, I just felt like I was missing something. So I went with English for audio. So that's one thing. So I think that's been keep me busy. I'm going to play some more tonight.
All right. Sounds like
it's very exciting.
The Nick sticker of approval.
Yeah, and I'm actually more excited about the TV series. I think, did they announce a TV series or a movie? I can't remember. But they announced some sort of movie? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like I'll get more into the actual story of these characters, but it's cool. But like the presentation is like, the presentation's awesome. So I can definitely see that. It pays a lot of respects to lots of classic films and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it kind of makes sense that
films.
So it makes sense that it would translate well to a movie, but you can definitely see it when you're playing the game. That's it. So that's that. Oh, go ahead.
I've always been a big fan of Sucker Punch from Sly Cooper and then Infamous and all that stuff. So I'm excited.
There's definitely some animations where I'm like, this is Sly Cooper, because it's just like very fluid and just so I definitely got some like Sly Cooper vibes with some of the ways that Jin, as the main character, like moves around the environment.
Oh, well, I'm excited. Once I get through some of the backlogs of the ones that I've been kind of flaking on, I think I'm going to jump on some Ghost of Tsushima. So.
Yeah, and again, like I feel like I've been like staring at this game sitting on my desk for like basically since it came out.
Yeah, I thought you.
I just now got around. I got it at launch.
No, you just had it.
No, I got it when because it came out pretty late on PS4, right? Like pretty late in the generation, and then I'm like, okay, I'm interested in this game. I know that they're gonna make a PS5 version of it, so I'm just gonna wait, and then that's exactly what they did, and then I knew I wanted it, so I just bought it, and for some reason never got around to it.
Oh, there you go.
And now here we are.
Good things take some time when you get to them. All right. Well, that about wraps it up for episode 23 of Pressing Buttons. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on another wonderful episode. Make sure you log in, check out the website, pressingbuttons.gg, so you can get the link to Discord or Twitter and all that, so you get all the news and info as soon as we release it. And be on the lookout for any future live streams. We appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one. Bye.
Later.